guys, I am back with a process video, and today I'm doing a little bit of mixed media on the background of this page, and I am taking some clear gesso and I am adding it on to this white cardstock. And the reason I use the clear gesso on the white cardstock is because it does not leave kind of like an off-white look to the white cardstock, so I prefer the clear gesso for this. The Liquitex brand is very, very gritty, and it seems to kind of tear and shred up my paper, at least the Basil, I think it's Avalanche cardstock, I can't remember. It's a texture cardstock from Basil. It seems to really shred up that paper, so I am looking for a good clear gesso that doesn't have a texture to it. And I think someone recommended, maybe Dina Wakely has some. I'm not quite sure. I need to look back at my comments, but I did get a comment about some really smooth clear gesso that I think I need to try, because it really does shred it up a bunch, especially when I use the credit card. It just really kind of just rips up the paper, almost like sandpaper. And that always is a problem because I don't want it to look like that. I want texture, but maybe not that kind of texture. So a couple minutes ago, I just showed you the different inks that I'm going to be using, or the sprays. And so I have a Lindy's Stamp Gang spray. I think those are the two main sprays I use. And then I have one that's from Fireworks, and I got that at Joann's a long time ago. And I am just going to be layering the two pinkish colors up on the background, and my entire design is going to go across the page, and I just want to have the different depth and dimension of the two colors, so they're very similar, because I didn't want a big contrast, but I just wanted the depth that you get by using the multiple shades of the same kind of a color. So I'm just kind of using the packaging technique, splattering it down, smushing it down over and over until I get the look that I want. And like I said, I use the clear gesso in the background just so that my page doesn't warp and the color doesn't soak in immediately in the paper. I like when it kind of sits on top and I can manipulate it just a bit before it actually lays down. Plus, if I want to blot it up like I am now, it does that. Otherwise, if I didn't have the gesso on, it would just absorb into the paper and then it would just be there. So I absolutely love this paper, so I'm going to fussy cut it because it is just screaming to be fussy cut. So you're going to see I'm going to take a couple different chunks out of the paper here, and I'm going to cut the flowers out. And I think I had mentioned just a minute ago that I will be kind of creating a horizontal line across the paper, kind of where I put that mixed media. So I'm cutting these out, and then I'm going to fussy cut the shapes, and then I'm going to spare you some of that so you don't have to watch that entire thing. But I am showing you kind of how I do this first one, and then I will fast forward to them all being cut out. And I really like these Cutter Bee scissors. They're probably one of my favorite scissors to cut or fussy cut out, because they're very sharp and they're fine, and they give me a really nice clean cut, as opposed to something like the Tim Holtz scissors. I just don't think they cut the fussy cutting as nicely, so I really like these really precision sharp scissors. So there you see all the flowers and leaves cut out, and I decided that I needed more leaves, so I'm going to go here and fussy cut a few more leaves out until I kind of get the look that I want. And then once I cut everything out, I'm going to kind of glue everything down, and I'm going to glue everything to kind of each other, and then that way I can move the big clusters away so I can do some other embellishing. So you can see here that I'm just trying to glue the flowers to each other, but it still allows me to move that whole chunk of flowers off the page. So now I am happy with where this little flower cluster is, and I am going to pull out some green thread, and it's a pretty dark green, you can see there, and I'm just going to kind of clump it up and then layer it behind some of my leaves and flowers just to give it a little extra texture. I absolutely love this technique. I learned this from Missy Whidden, and I really enjoy it. I just think it adds just enough detail, adds that color that you want in certain areas, and then it adds that texture without being too overwhelming. And that's what I like. I like the subtleness of it, but also how it has that splash of color. So it's perfect. And I try to do this on quite a few of my layouts, and I just seem to, the more I do it, the more I want to do it. So I do recommend trying that out if you like that look. Here is just some really pretty gold striped vellum that I'm going to trim out, and I'm going to back my picture. I wanted a little subtle background. I didn't want anything too crazy, and I thought this gold, because it's kind of like that creamy or a brushed gold, I really like that look, and I thought it kind of made that picture pop amongst those flowers there. So I am going to put some more paper back behind it, again, just to give it a little bit more oomph. And this polka dot paper is really cute. I like how it's kind of irregular all over the place, like kind of like splatters, just big huge splatters. And I really like how that looks. So I thought that would be a good layering piece for the photo as well. And again, I'm just trying to separate the photo a bit from the flowers that I have already cut out. So I'm going to just nestle that picture kind of right up in there. And I do want to make sure it's straight. It's a little hard to tell if it's straight because of the flowers that are kind of a little more organic looking. So I'm just going to use my T-square ruler to make sure I get it flat. And I am going to put some foam down. And I want to also remind or let you guys know, I have, the fun foam that everybody's been using, and the sticky back on it does not seem to stay sticky. So I highly recommend that if you guys are using this fun foam that you add extra adhesive to it, because I haven't had this fun foam in my stash all that long, but when I pulled the white backing off, 9 times out of 10 it's not sticky anymore. And even if it is sticky, I'm worried that if some of the pieces have gone kind of dry, if you will, I'm worried that's what's going to happen on my page. So my recommendation for you guys, if you are using the fun foam, is to definitely add extra adhesive to the fun foam. Sometimes I add the tape runner like I did there, but I'm thinking I may want to start using more of a liquid adhesive. I'm just not quite sure. I'm a little nervous about the fun foam now. I absolutely love the fact that you can use it because it's cheap and you can get a lot of foam on the back of your photo or whatever you're popping up, but I'm starting to get a little wary of using it on my layouts, that it's going to allow my photos and things that I'm popping up to fall off the page later on down the line. So if I start seeing that in my pages, I'll let you guys know, but right now they seem to be sticking, but just because of my experience with some of the backing being not sticky anymore, I would recommend adding some extra adhesive. So that's what I've been doing. And now I'm just going to, on this side of the page, put a little string, again, just to mimic the other side. I really like how this looks, and there was not as much dark green over there on the very far left, so I thought adding that string was a perfect option or a perfect way to get that green color across the page without having to cut more leaves. So I'm just using my fine liner bottle, and it's filled with Scotch Quick Dry, or not, it used to be called Quick Dry. It's called Scotch Tacky Glue now. So if you're interested, you can buy the tacky glue at like Michael's or Joann's or a lot of other places. And then the little fine liner bottle I got at Hobby Lobby, but I think you can also buy it online at Amazon and things. So now I'm going to work on my title. I absolutely love this gold, and it really goes well with the gold that was in the background vellum piece that I added behind my photo. So I am going to be spelling out happy birthday to you, or it's really going to be happy B-Day to you, because I didn't have enough of the letter stickers to do birthday, plus B-Day fit a lot better. So this is going to be, I think it's a Simple Stories font that I end up using. I have all my fonts just sitting here. Maybe it's My Mind's Eye, actually. This might be in My Mind's Eye. But I just have all the sheets in this little container. I don't have the label on them anymore. I don't think they say in the bottom. But I'm just using my ruler to kind of figure out where I want to have the letters, and so I'm just going to glue them down here. And that U is an acetate piece that I had in my stash. And I'm just using the tiniest little bit of glue because you can see through the acetate piece. But because of the mixed media and stuff, you really don't notice it too much. So that's pretty much what my layout's going to look like. I'm going to do a little bit of embellishing, just add a few more things, but really I'm going to keep it, for the most part, the way that you see it now. So I'm going to add that little circle that says So Fun, and then I'm going to add another banner, and I'm going to pop that banner up. That Cherish, I liked it, but I just didn't think it really fit in with the layout, so I ended up not going with that. So there's that little banner I was mentioning, and I'm just going to add a little bit of foam to the back of it. And you can see here I'm adding a little bit more glue like I was mentioning earlier. I just think that's a better idea. I don't know. I'm very nervous about my fun foam now. So there, just adding a little bit of glue to that little cute banner, and it's going to go right there by the So Fun, and it says, what does it say? Today. So fun today, and that's happy birthday to you. And then I'm going to add a couple wood veneer pieces. That little bird is adorable. I believe this paper all came from an old Scraptastic kit, and those wood veneers came in the kit. So there's a heart, a bird, and then another kind of like open heart by the happy and you. Now I'm going to go through some of the sticker sheets, and I like these Pink Fresh Puffy stickers, so I'm going to be pulling off a few of them. Or they're actually enamel stickers, I guess. She was 8. This is my daughter. She was 8 in this photo. It was her birthday. That was why she's holding or having that cake there. So I'm going to take that little 8 and kind of sneak it in right there, because I don't really use these numbers very much, and I thought, well, it seems pretty perfect since she is 8 and it was her birthday. So I'm going to put the little word yay there on the bottom right by today, and then add a couple little X's just to get some enamel pieces on the left hand side of the page. I thought about using these phrase stickers, but I decided against it. Just nothing seemed to really work, or I go for the page, so I just kind of move on. And I'm going to add a little bit of this green fireworks spray that I did not add earlier. I thought it brought out some of the citron-y colors in the leaves, so I'm just kind of sprinkling that here and there to bring that color out from the back of the picture. I'm also going to take a paintbrush and I'm going to add a little bit more of that green in a few places just to kind of peek out from behind some of the embellishments in photos. I just felt like it needed a little bit more of that green color because we have these darker green leaves and then I have some of the light leaves, but it just felt like some pieces could use a little extra light green. So that's what I'm just doing there with the paintbrush, and just a little bit here, a little bit there, just dabbing it on. I could have achieved the same thing using the packaging technique, but since it's after the fact, the paintbrush works really well to get into some of those like little tight places. So I think this is pretty much going to be it. The next thing I'm going to do after this is I am going to add some journaling to right underneath the picture with one of my Stabilo black pens, journaling pens. I absolutely love the Stabilo pen, so if you are looking for some felt tip pens and you like that kind of pen, I love the Stabilos. They're a really good tip. They're not too fat, they're not too thick. I mean, not too fat, not too thin. And I just really like a felt tip pen, so I do recommend them if you like that. And so that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I'm just going to trim off these flowers and then I am going to show you some still photos. If you liked the video, make sure you give me a thumbs up, and if you have not already, please subscribe. You can get a feed or know what's happening in the feed earlier if you're subscribed, so I would absolutely love that. And thank you guys to all my current subscribers. I really appreciate all the comments and questions and suggestions you've given me over the years, and I love hearing from you guys. So thank you guys, and I will talk to you again very, very soon. Bye.